Okay, hello, and thank you for joining us today. For anyone that hasn't seen our previous webinars, my name's Gabby, and my role at Getting Hired is community outreach and marketing for job seekers with disabilities. At the end of this webinar, you'll see a few questions pop up on a new page on your browser, which will be asking for your thoughts about the webinar. So feel free to let us know what you think of the webinar, if there's anything we could have done better, and also if there are any topics you'd like to see a webinar on, anything that you think could be useful in your career development and your job search. Please do make a note of that in the feedback questions because, you know, we do take it on board and we'll be using your feedback to really improve the resources that we provide to help you in your employment search. So we'll just quickly run through logistics. As with all of our webinars, we have a live captioning service. The link to that is posted in the chat box, so you should be able to just click on that and you'll get access to the captioning. We'll also be recording the presentation and uploading it onto our YouTube channel next week. So if anyone has to leave early or you've missed the beginning, don't worry about it. You can rewatch it on your own time. We'll email all the registrants a copy of the presentation and a link to the recorded webinar, which will be on our YouTube channel next week. During the presentation, everyone will be set to mute. Please use the chat box to the right of your screen if you have any questions during the presentation, and I will answer them at the end. If you're not able to access the chat box for whatever reason, feel free to email me directly any questions that you have. My email is gnagle@gettinghired.com. So that's G-N for November, A-G-L-E for elephant, @gettinghired.com. So today's agenda, we'll talk about what you should be doing to prepare for an online career fair. We'll also look specifically at Getting Hired's online career fair, which is coming up in April. And, you know, that will give you an overview of how it works, what it'll look like, and what to expect from the employers that are attending as well. Finally, we'll also cover some top tips to help you make the most of the fair and give yourself the best chance of walking away with genuine job prospects. So let's jump right in. These are some of the things that you should be doing before attending an online career fair. We'll look at each one and go through each one in more detail. So first one, learn about the companies, which is pretty obvious. Second, prepare for interview screening. Third is pre-write some questions. Fourth, update your resume and social profiles. And lastly, create a calendar reminder. Once you've registered for an online career fair, you'll be able to log in advance and look at all the attending employers' profiles, or booths as they're called. These will have information about the company and often post specific or general positions that they're currently hiring for. But don't stop there. It's really important that you do some research on the companies that you're most interested in. You should already have a good grasp of their business, mission, open positions, and what changes or growth there has been in the company before you approach them at the event online. There's an image here of what it looks like when you log in. So you'll have your it's called a lobby, and you can see all the different employer profiles that are attending. You would be able to click on each one of them, and it will bring you through to more information about them and usually, you know, specific jobs that they are looking to fill. So it's really important to remember that this is your opportunity to get the recruiter's attention and to stand out from the hundreds of other applications and resumes competing for that employer's attention. Your goal with an online career fair is to talk one-on-one with recruiters. You should see this as a screening interview. You should prepare short accomplishment stories and responses to typical screening interview questions. Practice your responses, even write out an outline of what you'd like to say, but keep your responses concise. Recruiters really want to hear about your strengths, your work history, and your abilities. So make an impression and show your knowledge of their company. Share how your skills and experience will benefit their business and include any relevant accomplishments or awards as well. Because the event is text chat based, save yourself some time and type out a couple of sentences under each heading here that can easily be cut and pasted during your chat to cut down on your typing time, and it also saves you thinking on the spot. So a couple of sentences for each of these headings: an introduction, which could be your name, field of interest, what type of role you're seeking. Skills, try and be as specific to the job as you can. Experience, relevant achievements, and relevant questions to try and gauge career opportunities. So highlight specific skills that would suit the role that you're targeting for, or any skills that are maybe outlined in the job description. Give experience that demonstrates your ability to successfully perform in the role. When it comes to questions, make sure you're asking relevant questions. They could be questions around understanding what the recruiter's ideal candidate would look like, for example, which you can then use to explain how your skills and experience match what they're looking for. Or you might want to ask questions around career growth or development in the company, but whatever questions you ask, try to lead them back to how you can bring value to the company or why you are a good fit for their company culture. So these are a few examples of how you may want to approach employers at the fair. You want to give them a brief snapshot of your background, your skills, your goals. Really try to impress them. Get them interested in wanting to know more about you and how you could fit into their business objectives. Think about the value you could bring to whatever their company is working to achieve. So just to read out a couple of the examples here. Hello, my name is Mark Smith. I have my bachelor's degree in biology, and I've been working since I completed that degree in 2006. I'm comfortable with technology, including MS Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, and I've done significant online research for my current position. So that's, you know, a very brief explanation, pinpointing some of the skills, some of the keywords that an employer might be looking for when it comes to filling a particular position or even a particular job area. Hello, I'm Sarah Smith. I have a bachelor's in nursing, and I've been a nurse for 25 years, mostly in a hospital setting as a charge nurse. I also have some experience in home health. A third example, hello, I'm George Johnson. I've been a cashier for 5 years. I type 50 words per minute, and I'm very computer literate. I'm very interested in your virtual customer service position, but I don't have call center experience. Would you consider someone like me for this position? So that's another good opportunity of, you know, explaining your skills and your value. But if you're concerned that maybe you don't meet all of the criteria for the job description, it can be a good opportunity to ask, you know, how flexible that is, if there's opportunities to learn some of those skills while on the job, if there's any on-the-job training, you know, and if your skills and your experience can match the most important requirements of the job. And lastly, another example is, hi, I'm Joe Smith, and I'm interested in entering the aerospace defense industry, specifically in design engineering. I have a bachelor's in mechanical engineering, and I've recently completed an internship with Raytheon doing 3D drafting and modeling for heavy equipment using Pro-E. Can you tell me a little bit more about your graduate program and the selection process once I've submitted my resume online? So if you've done your homework and you've found that they have a program that you're interested in, a graduate program or an internship program perhaps, then this is a good opportunity as well to talk a little bit more in depth about that, find out if there's any opportunities there for you to get involved in, or any opportunities that, you know, once you're involved in, you could potentially lead into different areas in the company. This is a good opportunity to talk about all of those kinds of things that you wouldn't really get the opportunity to talk about just from submitting a job application or even an email sometimes. So here's a few examples of some relevant questions that you might want to ask. Think really carefully about what you're asking, while also showing the recruiter that you've done your research about the company and why your skill set and experience makes you a great fit. So what skills and abilities are most valued in your company could be a good question. What is the corporate culture like? Do you have any internship opportunities? What advice do you have for me as someone interested in this career field? What is the best way for me to follow up with you about the open positions within your company? And also the job application process. So you can ask for the recruiter's contact information, but it is up to the individual if they want to give that out. Phrasing it as it is in this slide, it can be a good way to find out the most appropriate way for you to follow up. The career fair is also a good opportunity to address any accessibility difficulties or concerns you might have in the company's application or testing process. So if there's a job opening that you'd like to apply for, it's a really good idea to complete your online application before the fair. And if you face any accessibility difficulties, if you're not able to locate an accommodation statement on the company's website, then you can ask the employer what assistance or alternative process they have in place. If you're not familiar with an accommodation statement, this is just an example from Exelon's website. It basically is a clear process for any applicants that are having accessibility difficulties completing the application or additional testing on the website. So this example has in the corner, there's a box on the right side of the screen that says Americans with Disabilities. If you need assistance completing this application because of a medical condition that may qualify as a disability under state or federal law, please email your request for assistance to recruiter@exeloncorp.com. You may be asked to provide documentation to support your request. So that's a fairly typical notice that they'll have. They'll usually either have an email address or a phone number, hopefully both. And you can find this accommodation statement in the careers section of the website. Sometimes it might be in their diversity and inclusion section of the website. Hopefully it's close and easy to locate from the job description itself, but that's not always the case. Sometimes you have to do a little bit of digging on the website to find it. But it's a good opportunity to try and locate it and see how accessible the application is before this career fair. Because if you come across any difficulties or you know, you're concerned about potentially there being maybe, I don't know, a phone interview or, you know, something like that that could follow up that you would need some assistive technology for, then, you know, the career fair is a really good opportunity to talk about that and to find out what the most suitable process would be. So here's a few important do's and don'ts for your resumes. It's nothing revolutionary, but simple and important factors that applicants often overlook. Given on average that there are about 250 applications for every job advertised, and recruiters spend approximately 6 seconds reading each resume, you want to make it as easy as possible for recruiters that are shortlisting. So don't overthink the layout. Simple is best. Use relevant and clear job duties. Make it easy to scan and searchable keywords. So unless you're a graphic designer, stick to simple. Traditional font of Times New Roman, 9 to 12 point size, black type against white paper. You might try a different type size font for your name or the companies you've worked for or your title, but try to be consistent and go easy on boldface type, italics, or underlining. Imagine you're a recruiter looking through dozens, even hundreds of resumes a day. The format needs to be professional and easy to scan for recruiters searching for relevant keywords. So within seconds of scanning, any potential employer should be able to identify your skill set and profession. Assume the recruiter is not an expert in your field. Steer away from jargon. Use the same skills and keywords from the job description. If you were searching a database for someone to fill a particular role, think about what keywords you would search for. Forget fuzzy and cliched terms. Think about practical, tangible skills and titles. So make sure you include your skills in any software or programs maybe that are commonly used in the field you're aiming for. Think about the kinds of practical skills and experience that you may be using on a daily basis in that job, and the kinds of traits that you would really need to do that job successfully. Highlight, your relevant achievements, but make sure that you show your value to the company objectives. That's the bottom line. You have to show why you would be a valuable asset to the company's objectives. You can begin sentences with verbs like managed, coordinate, scheduled, supervised. Verbs are a really good way to show active sentences when you're talking about your previous experience and your job duties. It's worth highlighting achievements like numbers or statistics or percentages that might get their attention if they're relevant to the job you're applying for. So, perhaps you've increased, revenue by 10% within 1 year. You could use examples like that if, you're able to gather them and you think that they would be relevant for what the job entails. Employers are really looking for low-risk candidates who are likely to bring value to the company objectives and not need replacing in a few months. So remember, your resume is top-level information. It's only there to get you an interview. The interview is where you really talk about details and achievements. That's where you want to, fill in the gaps and really give more information. Just see your resume as a very top-level, outline of the kinds of experience and skills that you have. At Getting Hired, we conduct our own research on a yearly basis to gather insights from our job seekers, and we work to address and improve any of the accessibility issues or frustrations that a lot of them tell us. Many of the frustrations that they've told us are not actually unique to job seekers with disabilities. For example, a lack of response after applying for jobs, or a lack of job variety geographically or across industries. In terms of online career fairs, the most common complaint from job seekers was the employers pointing them straight towards the company website. So as I mentioned earlier, the best way for you to prevent this happening is doing your homework beforehand. So you're asking questions that cannot be answered by visiting their website. On the employer side, Getting Hired works really hard to educate our employers about how they can make the most of the career fairs. So these are just a few tips that we give employers to try and make sure that they're as useful and as relevant to you as possible. So firstly, we would suggest that they engage with all job levels, which means including multiple open roles, multiple job levels and locations if possible. We also ask them to focus on transferable skills. So which skills are essential for the job roles? Are there opportunities for further learning or development once the candidate's in the role? Don't rush. We find that, finding out job seekers' career goals and giving them constructive feedback is really useful for both sides. So really take the time to understand what the job seeker is there for and what advice or information you can provide to help them take the next step in their employment search. Also, they need to be aware of accessibility issues. So we do tell them to have their company's contact information for any application accommodation requests. And finally, we ask them to have clear action points. How will they or the job seeker follow up the conversation? What will happen next? So these are some of the things that you can also keep in mind that employers will hopefully be doing, and you can actually use them to gather some action points yourself. If you haven't already signed up for Getting Hired's online career fair, you can do on the Getting Hired homepage. So you can see the next one is Wednesday, April 13th, and that's 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. Eastern Time. These are just some of the employers at the minute that are attending. There are a few more that haven't been updated yet, but just to give you an idea, there's MetLife, Waste Management, Rockwell Collins, Access Supports for Living, Texas A&M University, Merck, Argonne, ZF, TRW, Allegis Global Solutions, Bristol Myers Squibb, and KPMG. So there's also a few to be added as well, so it's worth, once you've registered, it's worth signing in, a few days later just to see what new employers have been added and if they are companies that you really want to look into before the career fair. So to look at Getting Hired's online career fair specifically, once you have registered, you'll be able to log in anytime before the event to click on the attending employers' profiles, as we saw earlier. Because the career fair website and Getting Hired website are fully accessible, you won't have any trouble accessing all the company's information and job listings. When you attend the live career fair on the day, you'll be placed in line to talk to each recruiter privately, and you'll have 10 minutes to talk to them. If you're not able to attend the live event, you can also leave a note and your resume for any employers to see when the event's finished. This is a screenshot as well of the video that they have on the online career fair site. So when you log in, you'll see you can watch this very short video that will walk you through exactly what will happen on the day if you feel you need a little bit more information. And finally, we have some top tips. So be professional. Approach employers as professionally as you would in person. Like I said before, see this as a screening interview. Introduce yourself, summarize your background, explain what positions or job fields you're interested in, and just try to make a really good impression. make sure that you've uploaded your resume and also specify which positions are of interest. So leaving a resume with a cover letter, leaving a resume without a cover letter, explaining who you are and what your skill set and goals are can look really lazy and is a waste of your time. If you're not able to attend the fair, you can still take the time to compose a professional letter explaining why the recruiter should take the time to look through your resume and how you can be contacted to follow up. Also, create a calendar reminder. So times can change, your time zone, you may get the times mixed up. If you're not on Outlook, you won't have the calendar reminder that is sent with the emails. So make sure you set up something so that you don't forget as well. So a thank you note, after you chat with the recruiter, you can leave a note for that person in the company booth. That's a great way to thank them for their time, maybe remind them of what you discussed, any action points you really want to highlight, and even leave your contact information just to make it that little bit easier for them to reach out to you again. And finally, take a look at Getting Hired's blog, which has a lot of useful information and advice for job seekers with disabilities, and it can help you prepare for every stage of your employment search. So these are some further resources that you can stay up to date with Getting Hired's events and all of our new resources and webinars and anything we have coming out to hopefully help you with your employment search. We are on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Google+. And lastly, questions. So if you have any questions at all about the online career fair, just feel free to type them in now to the chat box or drop me an email at gnagle, G-N-A-G-L-E, @gettinghired.com. I'll give you just a couple of minutes to type in any questions you might have, anything that you'd like more information about that I haven't covered maybe. Okay, I don't see any further questions, so thank you all so much for joining, and I hope you found it useful. We'll email all of the registrants a copy of the presentation and the transcript and a link to the recorded webinar on our YouTube, which will also have captioning and should be uploaded next week. So thank you very much for any feedback you provide as well, and best of luck at the career fair if you're attending, and enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you.